Give you a quick takeaway of what that's looking like in terms of the overall picture of the Lok Sabha polls. But who better than to be analysing this than the political parties who are in the fray for their best candidates, of course, to win and cross that finishing line. So let me take that across to my guest this morning, Pradeep Maur of the BJP and Sujata Paul, Congress spokesperson. Good morning to the both of you. Thank you very much for patiently waiting till we connected with you. In fact, I'm going to come back to you in a couple of minutes because I'm going to cut across to my colleague Nikhil, who has been getting us continuous voices as well as far as the voter turnout is concerned today. Nikhil, coming to you, the last time we connected, of course, we did see that Manoj Tiwari was heading out to be casting his particular vote, seemed very confident. But as far as the citizens of the national capital are concerned, what are their primary concerns that we should know about?
Well, Nivedan, there are a couple of issues which are concerning the voters of the capital city, but they are in a way also confused in the fact that either they have to choose the hyper-local issues which are concerning the capital city, or they have to see the issues nationally, and also is going to play the important role about what we have seen the episodes in the last few days as far as the allegations which have been leveled against the Aam Aadmi Party-led Delhi government. So that is also another point which is going to be seen as to how much impact it is going to play. But talking particularly about Arvind Kejriwal, he is mostly relying on the sympathy vote. He has already said that if you choose me, if you choose the India Alliance partner, then I may not have to yet again go back to the Tihar jail. So this is something which has been focus of the Arvind Kejriwal government. He has been relying largely on the emotional vote, so to say. He has maintained this throughout, that the BJP is after the party of the Arvind Kejriwal. They want to destroy him because they are working for the betterment of the country and capital city in particular. They have worked hard for healthcare, for the education as well. So these are the couple of things with which the Aam Aadmi Party has been moving further. But on the other side, Bharatiya Janata Party, they have taken it on a nationalistic approach. They have said that we are going to offer you about the Viksit Bharat thing. We are going to, in fact, put all those people who are allegedly corrupt into the either court of law, or they have to face jail as well. So these are the couple of issues which are going to dominate as far as the elections in 7 seats are concerned. But there are two of the major people who turn out to be the VVIP in terms of the candidature. One is Manoj Tiwari, whom we have spoken a while back. He's very confident of his win because he's the only candidate from the Bharatiya Janata Party who has been able to retain his seat for the third time. Rest all the 6 members of parliament from the BJP, they have been replaced with the new faces, new candidates. And this, some way or the other, gives out a volume as well as to how the anti-incumbency could have affected the BJP candidature as far as the elections 2024 is concerned. There is another VVIP candidate, Basuri Swaraj, who is also confident because she is going to contest for the very first time in Lok Sabha election, and also this is her poll debut, so to say, and she is going to contest against Somnath Bharti of the Aam Aadmi Party, who has always been the controversial face from that party. So these are the couple of things which are seen. But if we talk about the 2019 numbers, those are equally important because 60% was the voter turnout. This time we need to see as to how much the heat wave are going to make the impact, and there is also reluctance from the side of the voters as well. They are not feeling as enthusiastic as they should have been as far as elections 2024 is concerned. And if we talk about the voter percentage in particular, the Bharatiya Janata Party last time they were able to get over 55% with the second party was the Congress party. So this is something which was seen in the 2019. Now we need to see as to how much all the factors are going to be responsible for Lok Sabha 2024. Back to you, Nivedam.
Absolutely, Nikhil. Thank you very much for decoding that for us. In fact, all interesting points that have been made, which I will be taking across to my guests this morning. Sujata and Pradeep, of course, you know, Nikhil was talking to us about several aspects, the citizen aspect and the political aspect. So let's begin with the political aspects first. Sujata, I'll come to you. Considering he was talking about the numbers that weren't really in favor of the party essentially in 2019, a strategy that, of course, has been made in terms of the alliance this time around. Do you think that's going to be having a lot more implications of how confident the party is looking like, and what would be the driving factors in your opinion for the same?
Main issues today are price rise, unemployment, women's security. And Delhi is a place where when you talk about the Delhi police being in the control of the Home Ministry, obviously people do ask questions as to
Hmm.
why the police is used for purposes which are not really required. People are asking, why is it that a person like Manoj Tiwari comes and does nothing at all? In fact, if you've seen his interview recently to a YouTube channel, he's sounding so confused. He's more confused than the Prime Minister himself. And when you talk about the seats on which the Congress party has their candidates, that is Chandni Chowk, North East Delhi, and Northwest Delhi. So when you are talking about these seats, obviously we have very, very strong candidates. And the important message is that Sonia Gandhi ji, Rahul Gandhi ji, Priyanka Gandhi ji, they will be voting for the AAP candidate, whereas Arvind Kejriwal ji will be voting for the Congress candidate. So that also kind of cements the fact that the India alliance is really strong. And in the Bharatiya Janata Party, if you look at the candidates itself, people will question this, and from within also they will question that. On the one hand, the Prime Minister says BJP is a party where you have to really work hard to come and get a ticket or rise in the party, but you can rise if you work hard. But if you look at Basuri Swaraj, how has she worked hard? And how is it that even though they have an election committee, instead of that election committee deciding, it is actually the Prime Minister who decides who is going to get the ticket? So it's all about a cult politics that the Prime Minister has managed to establish within the party. But India is a democracy, and especially if you look at Delhi, people from all over the country come to Delhi. And the thinking is very different over there. And when there has been nothing substantial by the central government except for the jumlas, and we saw what kind of problems there were between the state government and the central government during the pandemic. These are things which will come to the minds of the people, substantiated by the fact that the Delhi chief minister was arrested and put in jail. And when he came out, whatever he is saying is rattling the BJP completely. So I think whether you look at the Congress or the BJP or the Aam Aadmi Party, these two are working together. And if you look at Congress and Aam Aadmi Party on the one hand and BJP on the other, you see that there is terrible anti-incumbency against the BJP.
All right, Sujata. So you've of course decoded that for us essentially as to how you're looking at this and your perspective about how this is also panned out for the BJP. Pradeep, I did see you, be a little amused with the way this was analyzed. But with the fact that the kind of strategy that the party also has gone for, was this an extremely conscious decision? Because one name that's definitely, has been popping up ever since we've been tracking this in the morning is Manoj Tiwari. Only with him having been retained, why would that be?
Look, as far as the strategy is concerned, it doesn't hover around only one person. It is a complete party strategy that goes on in every state. As far as Delhi is concerned, first of all, this is very clear to everybody that Congress is not in picture in Delhi. The Aam Aadmi Party was, making some kind of a, background within the people. But now, after their corruption cases, after the severe case of Swati Maliwal that everybody saw, where a woman has been treated in such a manner which was never expected from not even a common citizen. I mean, not even a very low-line kind of a person. That way she was treated. And after that, all the videos have been removed. All the videos, hard disks have been deleted. The way they are hiding it, it's very clear to the people of Delhi that these two parties, they are in alliance. They do not have any kind of an ideology. They are ideology-less parties. And not only this, Congress. Think about Congress. What they are doing is, one of their candidate in Bihar is Kanhaiya Kumar. Think about Kanhaiya Kumar, what he did. Ghar ghar se Afzal niklega. He is Kanhaiya Kumar, the person who was advocating Afzal, the person who celebrated the death of CRPF, this constables and sipais, and their death, and this person is their candidate. So it shows that this party does not have an ideology. And after that, when Aam Aadmi Party and Congress, they are in coalition and they are fighting together, that shows that these two parties do not have any kind of a spine. They can go to any extent to fool people of Delhi. And this is what is happening. People of Delhi are completely away from their this thing, and they are willing to go with Bharatiya Janata Party this time, and you will see wonderful results as far as BJP is concerned.
All right, you're exuding confidence and you believe the kind of, controversies that we've seen with the Aam Aadmi Party in the last couple of months that will have a end. Sujata, I do see that you want to come in and make a point. I'm going to come back to you. But first, let's quickly listen in to all the reactions that did come in earlier and we'll continue this conversation.
मुझे लगता है जो बहुत ट्रेडिशनल वोटर होंगे ना, वो भी आज उनको वोट नहीं देंगे। अगर बहुत उनको मजबूरी होगी तो शायद वो वोट न दे, ऐसी स्थिति आ गई है, ऐसा हमें पता चल रहा है। वोट देश के लिए है, देश हित के लिए है, नरेंद्र मोदी जी के लिए है। मैं सबसे प्रार्थना करता हूं कि इस समय अपने घर के सारे वोट बूथ पे जाएं। इस समय सारे वोट ईवीएम में पड़े और बच्चे भी अपने माता पिता को जगा रहे हैं कि चलो मतदान करो, देश को जिताओ, नरेंद्र मोदी जी के साथ इस देश को विकसित बनाने के लिए आगे बढ़ो।
लोकतंत्र बचाने का दिन है।
इलेक्शन से एक रात पहले एलजी और आम आदमी पार्टी में विवाद छिड़ गया है। आतिशी का कहना है कि जहां पे इंडिया ब्लॉक पार्टनर्स को सबसे ज्यादा वोट मिलता है वहां पे वोटिंग स्लो कर दी जाएगी। ये काफी बड़ा एक एलिगेशन आतिशी के द्वारा लगाया गया है कुछ ही घंटे पहले इलेक्शन।
ऐसी प्लानिंग है इनकी, जैसे गरीब बस्तियां हैं, लोअर मिडिल क्लास के लोग हैं, जे कॉलोनी है, क्लस्टर हैं, ऐसी योजना इनकी है। किसी हद तक जा सकते हैं। लोकतंत्र की हत्या जब कर रहे हैं तो ये बात बड़ी नहीं है। ऐसा हो सकता है, ऐसा करेंगे, लेकिन उसको भी हम लोग लड़ेंगे। इस बार सारे के सारे सीटें आएंगे, 7 सीटें हम जीतेंगे।
देखिए, हमें आधिकारिक सूचना मिली है कि कल शाम को एलजी साहब ने एक मीटिंग बुलाई थी, दिल्ली पुलिस के अधिकारियों के साथ मीटिंग बुलाई थी और दिल्ली पुलिस को ये इंस्ट्रक्शंस दी गई थी कि जो जो एरियाज इंडिया गठबंधन के स्ट्रांग होल्ड हैं उन सभी एरियाज में वोटिंग को स्लो कराया जाए, बैरिकेड्स को दूर लगाया जाए, बार बार वोटर्स की चेकिंग कराई जाए। अगर ऐसा होता है तो ये फ्री एंड फेयर इलेक्शंस का उल्लंघन होगा। तो हम ये उम्मीद करते हैं कि इलेक्शन कमीशन इसका संज्ञान लेगा, दूध का दूध पानी का पानी हो जाएगा। ऑलरेडी कुछ एरियाज से ऐसी खबरें आ रही हैं कि कुछ एरियाज में बहुत दूर बैरिकेड्स लगाए जा रहे हैं।
All right, there are certain allegations being made by the Delhi Minister Atishi there, but as we speak, we're also getting you live visuals of the fact that Swati Maliwal has come out to cast her vote. These are the live images that we're getting for you of the same. In fact, we do know in terms of that particular controversy how it's been panning out in the last couple of days, that is. But as we speak, of course, these live visuals of her coming to cast her vote. But let me also find out from my colleague Harish, who joins me on the broadcast, essentially as to, he's of course reporting from West Delhi. What are the primary concerns for citizens who are out there and largely in the scheme of things, the political battle that's going down there? Harish, if I were to take that point across to you, many pressing concerns, and nobody better than a citizen to really know what kind of changes they would like. What has the ground reality been in the past couple of years? Have you managed to speak to a couple of them? What do they have to say?
Yes, in fact, I and my camera person Dilip Sahu is at present at the MCD primary school polling booths in in Dwarka, which is part of the West Delhi constituency. You can see huge lines. In fact, as early as 6:30, people have gathered here, and we can sense the excitement as far as voting is concerned. There are 4 booths here on all sides of us, surrounded by voters, and for all the 4 booths, long queues we can witness. And let me try and speak to some of the voters here. In fact, क्या आपको यहाँ के मुद्दे क्या हैं?
मुद्दे तो सर यही है, बेरोजगारी है यहाँ पे, सबसे ज़्यादा जो है युवाओं को रोजगार नहीं मिल पा रहा है, भ्रष्टाचार है ही है, महंगाई भी है, सबसे बड़ा रोज यही है मुद्दा। तो वैसे जो
यहाँ पे क्या परेशानी जो चल रही है, ये देखो लाइनें लग रही है, 1.5 घंटा हो गया मैं खड़ा हो गया यहाँ पे, और एक भी बंदा जो है अंदर नहीं जा रहा है। यहाँ पे बोले कि मशीनें खराब है।
ईवीएम में कोई प्रॉब्लम है
ना लग रहा है, कुछ ना कुछ प्रॉब्लम तो लगी रही है हमें अंदर, कुछ ना कुछ जो है जो हो ही नहीं रहा। एक मैम आई हमारे पास, वो बोले कि हमारी तो वोट पहले ही डल चुकी है, वोट डाल के रोती हुई गई है यहाँ से जो है। हमें 1.5 घंटा होगा लाइन में, ये देखो कितनी लंबी लाइन लगी हुई है, काम चल नहीं रहा है यहाँ पे, परेशान है।
यहाँ पे अगर आप देखेंगे ना, 1 घंटे से ज्यादा 4 कदम बढ़ पाए हम।
ओके।
हाँ।
आप कितने बजे आए थे?
मैं यहाँ पे करीब 8:30 पे आ गया था। 8:30
अभी
9:30 होने और 4 कदम चल पाया हूँ मैं शायद।
मेंटेनेंस जो है, मेंटेनेंस बिल्कुल नहीं है। अपना एक मेंटेनेंस हो, अपना रूल रेगुलेशन हो, वो कुछ भी नहीं है। अब ना पानी देख लो, पानी यहाँ रखा हुआ है, किसी को कोई पानी की सुविधा नहीं है। सर एक कूलर है, पीछे तक देखिए लाइन, पीछे तक कोई वो नहीं है, जिसे बोलते हैं ना आपको एक प्रॉपर वोटर्स है जो मतदाता
आकर अपनी वोट डालें। और खासकर मैं महिलाओं से अपील करती हूँ कि वो अपना बहुकीमती वोट ज़रूर डालें। इस देश में महिलाओं की भागीदारी राजनीति में बहुत ज़रूरी है।
महिला सुरक्षा क्या मुद्दा है?
आपके मुद्दे क्या रहे?
एक सवाल ले लीजिए।
All right, that was Swati Maliwal, who of course was addressing the media over there. But Harish, of course, continues to get us the latest in terms of those citizen voices. A few of them did have concerns as well, hiccups we understand in the process of voting. Continuing the chat that we were having earlier, Pradeep and Sujata. Pradeep, of course, were making imperative points in terms of how he was analyzing the Sujata, and I understand you wanted to come in and counter the same.
Yes. Because, when I heard certain things about someone being spineless, I can clearly say that the BJP and RSS have become spineless after the ED, the CBI, the income tax, and also to some extent the election commission to a large extent. But when you talk about the BJP and the RSS, from within the BJP and RSS, I should remind the gentleman here that the ideology that you stood by and that of your Guruji, so-called Mr. Golwalkar, who said that we will never do Vyakti Puja, and that is exactly what your entire campaign has been, and that is why you have failed miserably, because relying on Prime Minister Modi, we have come 10 years, and you heard what the people that your reporters were speaking to on the ground said, that corruption is a huge issue. Unemployment is a huge issue, and price rise is a very, very big issue. Now, I am reminded of what Mr. Modi said yesterday when he spoke about Sheila Dikshit ji. So he was trying to talk to the people of Delhi where the Aam Aadmi Party candidates are contesting. But of course, it doesn't work anymore. He has admitted that Sheila Dikshit ji did a lot of work. And today people also miss the work that she did. But when you are talking about these false narratives which are being built, it is clear that amongst them, we also remember what happened in 2019 and what Satpal Malik ji has said about Pulwama. So I think the BJP should just stay away from it, just like the Prime Minister has. And he has deliberately stayed away from that issue. Otherwise, he would have tried to build a national issue-centric debate for this particular election, which he hasn't done. Of course, I have always felt that he was illogically born, but he has said that now he is biologically also not born. So the fact is that the Prime Minister can try to fool people, but you can only fool some people some of the time, and you can never fool all the people all the time. So the issues in front of the people of Delhi
Sujata,
are
I have to
very
interject
clear.
you there. So clearly, there are a lot of issues in front of the people of Delhi, like you're saying. But like you said in your last statement, that the people... Yes, Sujata.
Yeah,
yes, go ahead.
Swati Maliwal's issue, of course, whoever is wrong should be brought to book. But the Rudali gang of the BJP was on the streets of, Delhi and people have recognized that is not how things are brought to the fore in a country like India. But when you want to do drama and this dramebaz of BJP, the new avatar of BJP under Modi, we've seen Prajwal Revanna was helped to escape the country. Why are they not doing a Rudali over there in Karnataka? Why are they doing a Rudali only in Sandesh Khali? We also want justice, but we've seen the videos which have come out and there has been no comment from them. Why is there that they have done no Rudali on Manipur? So, we have seen how Ankita Bandari in Uttarakhand, how the daughters of Kathua, Unnao, Hathras, Shahjahanpur, all of them were treated by BJP leaders, and therefore for the women of the country today, these are the real issues, and BJP is facing huge anti-incumbency on all these issues.
All right, so essentially to speak about all those horrifying incidents as well, because all political parties, doesn't matter which one it is, they always speak in terms of having women's rights, or probably in favor of them, but all these instances show a different reality. Pradeep, closing comments as far as how Sujata has analyzed this, but from the political prism of what we've seen change essentially from 2019, how do you think in 2024, what would be the implications for voters to be looking at this? Because multiple instances, even if you're talking about the recent one being Swati Maliwal for that case, or even Prajwal Revanna for that matter, the public does look at all of this. It could be one of the driving factors as to how essentially it draws a narrative as well.
I just heard the comments of Sujata Paul, and I was really surprised. She was calling women who were siding women who was harassed, and she is calling them Rudali. And whatever cases she has mentioned, I mean, elsewhere in India, on all these cases, the action has been taken. So in the same scenario, the BJP was siding a women, and not only BJP, there were many women who were actually siding these women, and she's calling them Rudali. This shows the kind of empathy these people have towards women, kind of respect they have towards women. She was talking about the unemployment rate. So unemployment rate, definitely, if there is even 1% unemployment, that is a concern. But unemployment rate has gone down to 6.5%, which is all-time low. That means something is happening in India. The economy is growing. And as far as the Pradhan Mantri Narendra Modi is concerned, he has a vision. He has come up with a vision that I want to make India to be the third largest economy in the world. And what is the vision of the Congress? This, Rudali, talking all negativities. His Rahul Gandhi is going to foreign countries and talking in favor of China. They are continuously been talking against India. He's saying India, I mean, I just gave an example of Ghar Ghar Afzal Niklega and all that. These kind of people are there in Congress. I mean, what they have made Congress to be right now. They are talking about ideologies. These people do not have right to talk about ideologies. People who have.
I think.
So, wait. As far as
we're actually running short of time, but before we leave, yes, Pradeep, I'm going to come back to you. I think Sujata is technically showing us particular images. Yes, Sujata?
Yes, this is the book called Bunch of Thoughts by M.S. Golwalkar. And, so that my friend here doesn't think that I'm just speaking through my hat. I have read this book. It's right there in front of me. And what this book says is that you will not do Vyakti Puja. No, you will not do Vyakti Puja. So stop hailing one man. This is your Guru Golwalkar who has said it. And I'm sure that you cannot deny what is written.
I got your point. Can I answer you?
All right. I'd have to interject there because we are... Right, but I'd have to give you, Pradeep, the opportunity to have a closing comment, essentially as to what the viewer has to make about the political situation. Considering, of course, we've seen whatever we had to in terms of the campaign and what has really panned out here. But more importantly, it's the exercise, the mandate that the voter gets to decide on real issues.
The real issues basically are the nation. I mean, this is the election of the nation, right? So nation is most important. Here we are talking about national security. Here we are talking about the development. Here we are talking about economic development, economic growth. And in every front, BJP has proved that they can lead the nation, they can take the nation to the next decade where people can say that people can actually feel proud of being an Indian, being being a national of a country which is the best performing economy in the world. So this is what we are saying. There is no vision as far as Congress, Aam Aadmi Party, these people are concerned. They are just fighting a small things, small agendas, and their local, small agendas. So this will not work in this elections. People of Delhi, people of India very well know that they have to select Bharatiya Janata Party. They are going to elect Bharatiya Janata Party. They are voting for Bharatiya Janata Party, and 400 plus seats. After the result, I mean, within few days, we will be discussing on the pre-poll this thing. And there we can actually see what is going to happen in the future. And future is very bright as far as Bharatiya Janata Party is concerned. And future is very bright for India. Just now I saw the book of
all right, Pradeep, I have to interject you there, but of course, closing comments essentially being that you are extremely confident that the party is going to be doing extremely well and how you've analyzed this. But Sujata, of course, having made her own point in terms of how she believes the strategy of the alliance that has come into the fore, considering the fact that in 2019 we didn't see that, in 2024 they believe, of course, there will not be a dent in terms of how viewers will be essentially looking at this. Voters would essentially have their own reasons to be casting their mandate, considering the ground reality is something that citizens do know better. But as we continue to track this, but I want to thank both Sujata as well as Pradeep for joining me on the show and sharing with us their perspective